Hello Skillr Boxers. Today we dive into the world of elite boxing, taking a close look at the current pound for pound best boxers. We will explore their unique styles and spotlight their standout skills, giving you tools to elevate your own game. This pound for pound list features 12 of the current best boxers, one for each round of a fight, carefully chosen based on our personal picks in no particular order. This will be a 2-series video, and in this first video we'll analyse the top 6 boxers and their signature skills. If you want to learn and understand the best skills of the best boxers, this breakdown is for you. But before we begin, if you want to implement these pound for pound skills to your training, you can drill them with HBOBoxing, the premier training platform that helps you easily drill and integrate new techniques. App version 1.6 introduces a provisional training guide and adds 2 new Skillr training modules to the collection. Get into fighting shape for the new year with a special lifetime offer. This deal expires February 1st. Download HBOBoxing today and dominate the opposition. So let's get started on the first boxer. Canelo Alvarez. Canelo's style has changed over the years, transitioning from a more basic style to a slicker one. His combination punching is second to none. His combos are not only fast and powerful, but also creative, avoiding repetition and changing the pattern. Not only his offense, but also his defense is very well crafted. While his head movement often steals the spotlight, Canelo has an array of tools that keep him defensively sound. He will use his blocking and parrying along with his head movement to stay out of harm's way. But if we had to highlight his best skill, that would be his
feints. Feinting is a game changer in boxing, and it is surprisingly underused. However, Canelo excels in this aspect, not only because he uses them so often, but also because of how effective they are and how well he combines them. The key to successful feints lies in selling the fake punch convincingly by mimicking the entire movement. One of his best feints are to the body. He ducks down, really making the whole motion so his opponent creates an opening upstairs. Then he rapidly changes levels and uses the strength of his legs to lunge himself forward with a big overhand to the head. Another signature feint in his style is the right hand feint, followed up by an uppercut. And even though this feint may not fully resemble a punch, it distracts the opponent with one hand, but much more importantly, it positions him perfectly for the lead uppercut. It is also worth mentioning how good he is able to change the trajectory of a punch without explicitly doing a feint.
She hasn't moved back in his mid-30s. Jab, a timed jab right here. It's not here.
Right hand by Canelo.
Now, let's take a look at the next boxer and his best skill. Jesse Rodriguez. Similar to Canelo, Jesse Rodriguez has a responsible high guard that he is able to combine with his slick head movement. He maintains that high guard even when he moves, ducks, slips and does any defensive maneuver. Same with Canelo, Jesse's feint game is top notch, but in his case he often relies on foot feints to bait the opponent. And it is precisely his footwork which we believe to be his best skill. Footwork angles. One of his most remarkable skills for many reasons. Same as with his high guard, Jesse really finds the way to make his footwork angles actually effective. They are not just for the highlight reel, but he will actually use his footwork to always get the better position against his opponents. That way he can hit them and they can't hit him.
Quadras continues to focus on the body shots.
He's backing up Quadras. And went back to the stick by Bam Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think Quadras thought the referee.
Now, let's test your boxing knowledge and see if you can notice what all these footwork sequences have in common.
Something else is going to come back, so on the side. Go for Bam Rodriguez.
If you watch them again, they are all set up with a punch first. You will never see him create an angle out of nowhere. He will always set it up with a punch first, otherwise it would leave him vulnerable while he gets to that position. Throwing a punch first keeps his opponent's mind occupied, making it easier to execute his moves without being at risk. A really useful resource he likes to use to create angles are pivots. You will see him use them frequently on the inside and on the outside, again to create angles and exploit them.
Are we seeing out with the old and in with the new?
Now, let's continue with another slick boxer in his best skill. Devin Haney. Haney is another slick defensive boxer, even more so than the previous ones. He always has a defensive first approach. He will intelligently use the clinch and full ring awareness to neutralize his opponents. He will often anticipate his opponent's moves and be defensively responsible after throwing his shots, like moving out of range or rolling under shots. He also can turn it around and quickly counter after defending. We have seen him especially good at countering off the Philly shell. But without a doubt, Haney's best skill is his sharp jab. Haney's jab is among the best in boxing. It has quickness, reach, and impeccable timing.
Goes to the box. There's a left hook.
Haney's looking. You untouchable around that.
Yeah, I've got it.
Body for Devin.
These last 3 years. I mean, you look.
His up jab from a low guard also adds an element of unpredictability.
Wow. Active with that jab, he's in control.
Gonna have to get physical.
Just lead.
Quick exchange.
Having such a great jab also opens up different opportunities for him, like the lead hook.
Up pretty well here. It's been around 5.
He will often fake the jab and come around the guard with a lead hook, sometimes lunging forward like a gazelle punch.
Is at the top. Right.
Oh, big snap to the left. Takes.
His efficient use of reach allows him to connect with taller and rangier opponents by extending his jab and taking a half step forward from that sided stance. Following Haney, another great in and out boxer. Dmitry Bivol. Same as Haney, Bivol has an excellent and responsible jab. In the case of Bivol, we like to highlight his timing more than his speed. He often catches opponents coming in with his jab, offsetting their rhythm. Like with Rodriguez, his footwork is a big part of his game. Bivol has that Soviet-style footwork, going in and out with every punch, throwing his shots and quickly getting off range. A very draining but effective style, which is topped by his relentless punching volume. When it comes to Bivol's punching style, he likes to maintain a constant pace throughout the fight, rather than using single power shots. He suffocates his opponents by denying them any breathing room through a relentless volume of punches.
Sheer volume of punches, jab specifically, that Kovalev was throwing.
Starts loading up, even if you block. No, don't push. There's that.
But you can see when Bivol throws the one. Look at him go! Oh my word! Finishing off with a straight right hand is Bivol.
Came around the guard with a left.
Than really anyone I've seen since Gennady Golovkin.
The reason he is able to maintain that pace is because of his way of punching. While the Soviet style requires tensed ankles to pull out the complicated footwork moves,
удара нет. Или наоборот, очень тяжелый удар. И также нужно отметить, как он уже основных игроков.
the rest of the body and especially the arms remain relaxed. By not tensing up when punching, he doesn't spend much energy and is able to maintain that pace.
То у него есть все. Ни один из элементов не
крутится, а Евгений,
который может менять стойки.
That relaxed way of punching also gives him incredible accuracy.
и хорошим мужеством, и хороший...
Because he is able to see the openings and exploit them with precision. He prefers to use precision over power and really look for the right spot.
As the judge of distance. Oh, and a beautiful right hand!
And he takes a lot of pride in that way of boxing.
But like he told us, I actually like using my feet. I like feinting. I like looking for the right shot. I don't just go out there and try to power punch like most people thought.
To the body and land down goes Castillo.
It is especially important to highlight his long-range lead hook.
I will sit down well, tuck a little. Elbows are inside my body. And in this tucked position, I'll jump and punch. I do not jump forward, I'll go up and forward and rotate my hip in the air.
A technique typical of Soviet boxers, which Bivol has perfectly mastered.
Coming out with a lot of pressure. You know, there are some years too, Brian. That clearly. You got that.
Now, let's move on to another agile and precise boxer. Gervonta Davis. From vertical footwork to Tank's lateral footwork. An underrated aspect of his game. He can comfortably move around the ring, analysing his opponents and making reads on them. His good reflexes and sharp parries allow him to get off shots and remain safe defensively. All this allows him to find the openings and exploit them with what we consider his best skill. Changing levels. Okay, so what do we mean by changing levels? When we take a look at Gervonta's power punches, a noticeable pattern emerges. He slightly ducks before punching, changing levels from down to up. His natural heavy hands, along with that quick level change, is what makes his punches so powerful. Despite being the shorter fighter, he leverages this to his advantage by employing his legs to generate additional power.
Watch the feet, check my feet, watch the feet, Jeff.
This strategy mirrors other power punchers who face taller opponents, such as the great Mike Tyson.
But everything seems to spring from your legs and your stomach. Is that true?
Yeah, I used to punch with the snap, my shoulders and my legs, and bringing the punches together with accuracy and precision.
He uses that impulse of his legs to increase the force behind his punches, incorporating different punch variations. A great example, even though he does not use it as much as his gazelle punch or lead hook.
Hometown NFL team, the Baltimore Ravens. Devin Haney. But, oh my!
As one of his nicknames.
Left hook to the ribs. Oh, big left hook. That caught Nunez.
Employing a swift level change, he lunges up, utilizing the momentum to deliver a devastating lead hook. Another perfect example, and this may very well be his best punch, is the uppercut.
Davis thinks he's got him done, and Michelle Myers has seen enough.
Another punch where he maximizes his height advantage with an explosive upward motion.
And against definitely a
those combinations.
Oh, and a cruise through the right, and Davis.
And this is gonna fold from his. Oh my!
Now let's break down the last boxer and his best skill. Oleksandr Usyk. Maybe the most crafty footwork on the list. Usyk has dominant footwork. He intelligently moves to the weak side of the opponent and gets angles to exploit the advantageous position. He will remain defensively responsible, same as our other pound-for-pound boxers on the list, controlling the outside foot position and getting his head off the centre line. Same as Bivol, Usyk relies on a constant punching volume to drain his opponents. But what we consider to be his best skill is his dominant
lead hand game. What makes Usyk's lead hand game so impressive is his almost hypnotizing ability with it.
More than the cruiserweight average. That jab for the South.
Drawing his opponent's attention to that lead hand and distracting them of all his other weapons.
And then he nailed it right.
Having an active lead hand doesn't always mean throwing a lot of jabs. Usyk constantly puts the lead hand out there, using probes and feinting a lot of times in a looping motion, changing levels and getting reads on his opponents.
Disguised by a left uppercut which preceded it, and it put Wlodarczyk on the canvas. And
he will also use this looping motion to transition to what we could consider an outside parry, to open up opportunities for his rear hand.
Big shot straight down the middle of the
punch got him off balance.
Well, he just can't get caught. That needs to get too close.
And another left.
Constantly knocking Gashev's head.
He doesn't just feint with the hand, but he will also feint with his entire body. Oftentimes, boxers will keep these two feints separate. Usyk combines both of them together using his lead hand and half-step feints to get more reactions from his opponents. The constant mix-up of feints and probes will make it specially difficult for his opponents to make reads on his jabs, which make them more hard to dodge.
But again, look at how busy that jab is. That is absolutely incredible. 354 jabs thrown through the completed round so far.
He is very effective using up jabs, and a great example was his fight against Anthony Joshua. As the feint is to the body and the jab is coming from a lower position, it really surprises his opponents, making it much more effective.
ППО відпрацювало ті удари Ентоні Джошуа.
As we've seen, each share similarities and fundamentals, but each boxer possesses a unique skill set, so you can take away something from each one and implement it to your own game. And in the next video, we will review the remaining 6 pound-for-pound boxers. But now, we would love to know your opinion on the comments. Let us know your pound-for-pound list and each skill. And as always, if the video was interesting, you can find more in our channel. And to your left, there's a video specially suited for you.